Good morning, Lakeisha. Hey, boom. Happy Saturday. Lakeisha, can you hear me? Because I woke up, I'm feeling a little icky, like a sore throat, and my laptop acting crazy. But I just wanted to come up here and say good morning. Hope everybody has a beautiful Saturday. The weather is good here. I'm thinking about just going out for a little bit, collecting my thoughts. Okay, good. You can hear me. But anywho, I came to see what you guys was up to, what you got planned for today, and all that good stuff. I'm also thinking about cooking some curry chicken. I feel like some curry chicken. I think I might do that later on this evening. But anywho, dark and lovely Fanny. Hey, good morning. Hey. What you guys got planned for this beautiful Saturday? Because it's been raining a lot here, and today it's not going to rain, so that's really a big plus, despite all the damn rain we've been getting. Hey, partner, hey, happy Saturday. So let me come on here and chat with you guys for a few. My kids are still sleeping. My mom won't be home until a little bit later. So it's just me. I was catching a few movies on Tubi, and I'm like, that was getting boring, so let me come up here. Yep, everybody's speaking Alabama. And it is beautiful and sunny out. I'm so glad it's not raining today. Because sometimes this rain can be depressing. So glad it's going to be a beautiful day. Sun is shining and it's not too hot. I think it's only going to be like 84, 85. So that's good. That's good. Because when it started getting into those triple digits, I can't do that. But anywho, I was catching a few lives, and I ran across Sharita. I saw that she had came live. It was like the wee hours of the morning. So me myself, I don't never, I'm not gonna speak on no deceased or nobody losing someone because I'm going through the same situation myself, and that's not what I do. I don't speak on things like that. However, it was just ironic that some of the stuff she was saying it didn't pertain to her situation, but it pertained to other people's situation when they lost somebody. But it's different for her. I don't know. Some of these people that come out here and talk, I just be so amazed at some of the shit that come out of their mouth. Like, child, it be so crazy how a situation could be one way for somebody else, but as soon as it hits your front door, it's a whole nother story. Oh, it wasn't like that. Oh, it's not like this. It's not this. It's not that. It's just bugged the hell out. So I was just catching up on her replay. Lakeisha said, me and my daughter going to my auntie's house. She's having a barbecue. Oh, okay, Lakeisha. Well, enjoy. Child, I think I've been to one barbecue this whole summer. And it seemed like nobody in my family really having them this year. I don't know about Labor Day. I know that's coming up in a few weeks. So I haven't heard anything about Labor Day. But anyway, you have a good day. Enjoy your family, Lakeisha. Bama says, when you went, when I went where? I don't know. But yeah, I was checking her live and checking a whole bunch of other lives. And it's like, it's a lot of people here that don't live in a real state of mind. They live in a delusional state. It's like when you come out here and do something and say something, you gotta be accountable for your actions and your thought process and the shit you spewing out. That's just me. I always been taught to be accountable for anything I say or do. My parents, taught to the best of their ability. No complaints about that. But anything I ever did and strayed away, it wasn't because they didn't teach me. It was because I felt like that's what I wanted to do. It had nothing to do with my parents, my upbringing, and what they did or didn't teach me. Trust me, they taught me the ropes. They dropped gems. My mom's still dropping jewels. My dad's no longer here, but I was taught properly. It's just that I had made mistakes along the way, but those were my mistakes that I had to be accountable for because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. It had nothing to do with my parents didn't show me. But it's just so much, it's just so much people out here that just it's bugged out. Hey, Tater Bug, good morning, happy Saturday. I don't know. It's just I be wanting to come out here so much and do other things, but I do see a lot of other creators. They have a lot of stuff going on besides the drama. Cause I like going over there to Gamma's world. I like Gamma. She cool. She got the games. She has the mental health stuff. She got all type of stuff. See, I never really, got into her, before because you know how it goes on this side, that side, which is foolish. It's childish, but it happens. But I'm so glad that I finally went into her room one day and got a chance to see her for myself and see what she brings to the table. And I like Gamma. I really, really do like her, and I like her channel. She has a great personality. Overall, I really do like her. Yeah. Partner says, I believe my phone is sleepy. Yeah, because what time is it? Your time? It's 9, right? Because here it's 10 o'clock. Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I could come out and do a little bit more things on here. But it's just so discouraging sometimes because, and I know it, and I'm not complaining because we all know the sector that we're in is drama. They love drama. Everybody should. We all do. We all sit over there and laugh and bug out. But sometimes you want to break away from things and just try to have something else going on. But sometimes people don't want to, excuse me, support as much as they do the drama. However, I did learn on TikTok from another creator. She was saying you just have to pick your lane, you just have to do your thing, and your community will show up. The people that's for you will show up, and she always pushes that narrative. She lives by that. Like you stay in your lane, you do what you do, and the people that are supposed to be for you will gravitate, and the community will show up. And she's very 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 right because I've seen it a lot on TikTok. Tigger Bug says yes, I love Grandma. She wrote yes, I do. I do. I really really do like her. I do. She has a bubbly personality. I don't know. It's something about her that connects with me. I don't know what it is. I feel like I've known her like before in another life or something. It's weird, but I do like Emma. I really, really do like her page. I like what how she comes out here. She does her thing. She's in her lane. She's not trying to be like somebody else. She brings a lot to the table as far as games, as far as talks, as far as challenges, as far as a lot of stuff. So yeah, I do. I really do like her. But I'm gonna try to get a game plan coming and see what I could do maybe on certain days. I can do certain things. I'm gonna draft something out and try to stick with it. Cause it's me, I'm not consistent. I'm never a consistent person. That's the problem. So I'm gonna give it a real good try and see. I say this 1,000 times, but I'm gonna commit to giving it a solid try to just see. So yeah, but it's a lot of people up here that's not accountable for shit that they do. In my big grown age, I know that whatever 95% of what happens to us is our fault. It's whether we made wrong choices, we didn't make the right choices, we fucked around with the wrong people, we did something we didn't have, we shouldn't have did. But 95% of the things that happens to us, unfortunately, is a result of our own fault. So me, I had to learn to make better choices in life. I used to surround myself with people that I knew I had no business fucking with, but just trying to be down and cordial and wanting to be the in crowd and do what was in and all of that. But you have to grow up. You have to learn that that all that stuff it doesn't make a sense. It doesn't make sense. Yep. Hey, Gamma. Hey, good morning, girl. Hey. I was just telling them how much I love your channel, how much I gravitate towards your personality. I feel like I know you. I know I don't. But I'm just saying, you ever come across somebody and you feel like you knew them in another life or realm or something. But you got a lot of good things going on over there. You stay in your lane. You do what works for you. You have your games, your motivational things, your challenges, and you are such an inspiration. And you are, excuse me, my throat, y'all, is messed up, but you are in your lane and just keep being you, keep showing up as yourself. I know you know that. You didn't need me to tell you that, but I'm just telling you that there are people out there that they watch you, they get inspired by you, and just keep doing your thing. You don't have to fit in a box with everybody. You can stand out and still be great and still have your own thing, your own community, and everything. So, well, thanks so much. I appreciate you coming to support the channel. Of course, yeah, of course. But yeah, I had to learn the hard way in life that, you know, when you do something, you got to be accountable. And that's the thing that a lot of people lack on this app is accountability. It's not just on this app, it's people, period. Because I tell my son, he's 23 now, turned 23 on my birthday. So I tell him all the time, you have to be accountable for the shit you do. You're not a child anymore. And I always instilled that in him, values and things that he can learn from me. I'm not a perfect parent, not a perfect person, not a perfect friend, not a perfect daughter, not a perfect cousin, aunt, none of that. However, I always own my shit. I am a person that takes accountability for shit they do. Even if it's something that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, at the end of the day, I know it didn't turn out that way because of something I did. And that's what I try to teach my kids all the time. And when people, I don't like people that try to, oh, you shouldn't with your kids. Don't ever try to tell me what to do with my kids. That's a sure way to disconnect with me. Everybody raises their kids the way they see fit. And me, I'm raising kids that nobody will ever have a trauma story about. I don't want my kids to get in relationships with people and say, oh, I had to go to therapy after that relationship. Oh, I was in therapy the whole time. Oh, I had to heal from that shit. I never want my kids to be the cause of somebody's trauma. And that's the thing nowadays. It's a lot of people that have trauma filled childhoods, trauma filled lives, and I'm so blessed to not to have been in that situation as far as childhood. However, I do feel bad for anybody that had an upbringing that they were not responsible for. Because as a child, you're not responsible for what happens to you. You have adults that are supposed to govern and protect and do all that good stuff to you and for you. And when they fall short, it's not the child's fault. It's the adults around them that have failed them. So there are so many people walking in this world who have been failed by adults and they carry that shit into their own adulthood. As children, they were failed and they didn't get the proper discipline, upbringing, love, care, affection, all of that. And I feel sad. That makes me feel sad because I never experienced none of that. We didn't have money like that. My parents wasn't rich by no means, but we were rich in love. We were rich in affection. We were rich in support. We were rich in great parenting. And I see a lot of people. When you go to the internet, you can see a lot of trauma-filled stories. The internet has exposed a lot of shit that maybe people used to tuck under the rug back in the day. But because we got the internet now, a lot of shit has been exposed, like about childhood trauma, people coming out on TikTok with stories, like, excuse me, like story time of childhood trauma and things that happened to them. I've never, ever, ever in my life seen so many people with so many trauma filled stories. And it's sad. It's really sad. And it makes me appreciate my parents that much more. We were kids. My father was very much the disciplinary. Like he would tell us, we're not doing this, you're not doing that, we're not doing this, we don't do that in here. Be like, you're gonna see later on a lot of your friends are gonna be unalive, they're gonna be in jail, they're gonna be on drugs, they're gonna be a lot of things because they have no structure. They have no one in their life to discipline and structure and set them on the right path. But as a child, who wants to hear that shit, right? You want to do whatever your friends doing. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear nothing about when they get older what life is going to be. However, he was always right. He was right in mostly everything he did. Not perfect, but the way he had my siblings and I, the way he parented my mother too. But my dad was the disciplinary. Like he was the one. Like okay, yeah, you didn't do right in school. This, that, and the third. You didn't do this, that, and the third. He was the disciplinary. My mom was a little softer. You know what I'm saying? She would let us get away a little bit more than him. He made us accountable. He showed us that when we do shit, there's repercussions. You can make choices, but you gotta realize that choices, when you make certain choices, it comes with repercussions. And he definitely instilled that in us as children. And I was blessed to have him as a dad. And I saw somebody on social media was like, would you pick your parents to be your parents again if you had the choice? Like if you can go back and choose different parents, would you choose them to be your parents? And I absolutely would choose my mother and my father again and again and again and a fucking again. Because again, they weren't perfect. We didn't have no expensive shit. I ain't gonna hold you, sit here and lie and say, oh, we had a picket fence and gated community, all that. No, but we had what we needed to survive. We was never put out in the street. I don't have no trauma stories like that. I don't have no essay stories about no family, and I see that that's very common. And I can only speak to my people in like the black community. I'm not judging or whatever. I'm just saying I just speak from what I see, and I see that that's very common, and it's just very unfortunate that these things have happened, along the way to people, and they haven't properly healed, and as a result, they've become problematic and chaotic adults, and that's the issue. They have never healed properly. They have never gotten over the things that have happened in their childhood, and then they grow up getting relationships with people, fuck their lives up because they're bringing their trauma into a relationship that they never healed from when they were little. They come into the world and bring all that chaotic and confusion into the world, and it just makes a fucked up situation for anybody that comes in contact with them. I believe in therapy. I believe in healing inward and then outward. I believe that in order to get right, in order to be a productive person, in order to have healthy relationships, you have to be right yourself. So I don't put myself in relationships like that because I know that I still have things that I have to work on for myself. So I don't want to put off whatever I got going on onto the next person. When I come into a relationship, I want to be the person that I'm supposed to be for myself and the partner. And people don't do that nowadays. They just jump and get into shit, get into relationships with people, and they bring their baggage and they come into their world and disrupt, knowing that you never had no business getting into nothing, a relationship, until you healed your mind and you heal inward and then out. It's a song by Erica Badu, and it's Bag Lady. And yo, people miss the point of that song. It goes over a lot of people's head. If you ever listen to the song and you ever got the concept of what she's saying, yo, that song is on another level. If you just sit back and listen to it and look at the video and see all the connections that she does from like people that take baggage and just spread it to other people. They take their baggage and they put it off on you, me, my cousin, my father, my sister. They just put their bullshit on other people without properly healing. And that is a great representation, that song, of people that are not properly healed and they just bleed on other people. They just take all their bullshit and bleed it onto anybody that they come in contact with. And it's like a cancer, if you will. It just spreads. Anything they touch, anybody they touch, the bullshit and the baggage just spreads to them, right? So I'm by no means no therapist, nothing like that. Trust me. But I got a lot of sense. Y'all might think, oh, Dr. D play around a lot. You know what I'm saying? She plays a lot. I do, because I love a good time. I love a good joke. My parents are very much comedians. My dad, like I said, he's no longer here. My mom, if you had the pleasure of meeting her, funnier than my father could ever think of. Top three comedians of people I ever met. Funniest motherfuckers I ever met. So I come from a lineage of people that like to joke and play and, just have fun. However, I also come from two parents that never played the fuck about me. And me learning and not getting it out in this world and not being able to grasp certain things and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very, very, very fortunate to have the parents that I have. And my children are fortunate, of course, to have the parent that they have. Not perfect, but however, I can instill what I learned from my parents onto them. Not perfection, but just properly maintain the mindset of my children. But partner says as bag lady is a hit with so many meanings of carrying other people's baggage. It is, partner. Hey, Sally sings, I'm sorry if I didn't speak to you. Yes, it definitely is. That song is more than what the surface of it is. You have to dig deep into the, not even so much deep, but you have to look past a lot of things and then you can see what the song really means. It's a bop as far as the music, but you gotta look into it and see the message that is trying to present out there. And that's what I do when I listen to music. Sometimes I listen for a melody and for fun, but I listen for a message in a lot of music that I listen to. And that is definitely a message-filled song, and it went over a lot of people's heads. A lot of people didn't even realize the gems that she was dropping in that song. So if you're not, I'm sure everybody has listened to Bag Lady by Erica Badu. I'm sure you heard it before, but if you never really went and listen to it, take a moment at some point and listen to it because she was definitely dropping gems, right? But yeah, I didn't want to come out here and take too much of your time. Like I still want to do my panel on grief because I'm emotionally spent. Right, my kids lost their dad 2 years ago on the 13th of August, and they were 8, and my heart feels for them because I have the I had the opportunity to have my father. He passed away when I was 19. So he had already raised me, he already, not sent me on my way per se like that, but he had already prepared me for the world that was out here. There they were robbed, I feel, of a chance to have a father. So I don't know what that feels like. So my heart always goes out to them. But what are we going to do? Nobody in life can escape death. Death is the inevitable experience that we're all going to have to unfortunately go through. So the last couple of days leading up to the anniversary 2 year, it's been very emotional for me. I have still so many unanswered questions, and it's just, I don't know. But the only thing I can do is take solace in knowing that he's no longer in pain. He was a lot of suffering, you know what I'm saying? A lot of doctor's visits, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of, you know. And I just try to find peace in knowing that he's free of this world. Anything that was binding him to this wicked world, he's now free. He's in a better situation than me. He's sitting above. He has his hands on us. He guides me all the time in things with our children. I can still hear his voice in the back of my head before I make certain decisions when it comes to his kids. And that's the main thing that gives me solace and it gives me peace to know that he is not any longer suffering. People say you'll see your loved one again. You'll see him again. I don't want to get into that because I'm not a religious person. Not saying I don't believe in God, I do, but I can't quote Bible scriptures. Some of them I can here and there, but pretty much I will claim to be something I'm not, right? So I won't get up here and try to be overly religious. However, sometimes I do question, Or I do feel like, how do someone know that you'll see the person again? That's what we're led to believe, and that's what they tell us. And I have questions sometimes about that, and I don't feel bad about having a question. Will I see him again? But I don't know. It's just been an emotional week for me. I wanted to come yesterday and do a grief panel, but there's no way I could have talked about this yesterday or the day before. I feel a little comfortable, a little better about it today. Since it's been a few days since the anniversary, I feel a little better. But in retrospect, I still feel a little bit uneasy. But at some point, hey kids, hey boo, how are you? Yeah, I'm going to come and I'm going to have the grief panel because I believe there are so many people that can benefit from this. There are so many people grieving the loss of a loved one, and it's just a life. And I saw someone say a while ago that grief is the price you pay for loving somebody so hard. And that shit sticks with me every day. Ever since I saw that, it pops randomly in my head. And I agree. I believe it to be true. It, I believe it. It's just the price you pay for loving. But on the flip side, you still are so blessed to have been encountered with loving parents that you lost, spouse, whoever you lost. You have been blessed to have known that person, to have encountered them, to have experienced their love, to have grown with them, to have memories with them. So that's the plus side of it always. It's not always a downside to someone dying. However, it is just a crazy roller coaster that I'm on right now. My mind is here, my mind is here. Then I got other things going on. But I know that I have to stay strong for my kids because if not me, then who? And there's nobody else that's gonna do for my kids that I do. My kids turn to me, they look to me, and I'm not even talking about monetary. I'm talking about just my kids. I know that there's no one that's going to comfort and take care of them like me. So I know I gotta take care of myself mentally, physically, in order for me to continue to be a vessel for my kids and even my mom. They look to me for support, and I'm not even talking about again money. I'm talking about mentally, spiritual. I have to be a vessel for all of them. So if my mind is fucked up, then I can't be nothing to them if I can't be right for myself. I can't if I can't get myself right, how can I be anything to them? How can I be of service to my kids or my mom? So sometimes I need to take a break and just decompress and just do a little soul searching. I do that from time to time when I can. And I don't know. Kisses. Booski, you're in my prayers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Because it's just so many people just going through so many things, and some people don't have an outlet or a support system. Some people don't have people that they can call or text or depend on for support, and that's also a sad thing. I've been blessed to have a great support system, especially when my mental doesn't click right. You know, I do have a support system in line. When I feel like I'm mentally going off the grid, I have people that can properly put me back on my route. So that I am grateful for, and I always just trust God. If I can't trust nobody, I know that I can trust God because I know that He's a way maker because He made a way for me. Too many times when I thought that it was over for me. I didn't know what I was gonna do. He brought me out of so many situations, and all I can do is be grateful. Even in the midst of a storm, I can still say thank you, and I can still be grateful. Partner says, I don't feel it's the price you pay for them passing. I can't explain, but it's that we will never understand. No, it's not the price that you pay for them passing. I feel like you grieve them because you love them so hard. That is the price that we pay for loving so hard, not for them passing. You know, when someone passes, the harder you grieve, I feel like the more they meant to you. So, because that person was so connected to you, and because you love them so hard, that's why you're grieving like that, because you have lost a part of you that you'll never get back. When someone passes away and you're still here, you have to learn to live life without them. You have to learn to go on and try to pick yourself up, put the pieces together, and form a life without them. People teach you how to live with them when they're here, but they most often never teach you how to live without them. So that's the thing with that. That's the thing with that. So, like the harder you love them, the more you miss them. Yep, absolutely, Gamma. Yep. The harder you grieve, it's like it puts you in a I don't know. It's crazy because, like I said, my mind has been emotionally spent since Monday, Tuesday, but I have no choice to keep going. There's no option for me to fold. There's no option for me to lay in my bed and fetal position myself and just lay there. I have too many people that depend on me, so that's not an option for me. And it's not an option for a lot of people because I'm not special. It's a lot of people that are in the situation I am in, and there are some people that have a worse situation than me. So I'm not indeed downplaying nobody else's situation because we all are going through things. We all have a route that we are on. We all have a destination that we're trying to get to. We're just taking different GPS routes to get to it. And I don't know. I just couldn't come out yesterday or the day before and speak about this because I was so much into my feelings. And I don't know. But I do know that there is just peace in knowing that a person is no longer suffering. That is the peace and the solace that I have in knowing that there's no more suffering, there's no more pain. That part I do believe and I do wholeheartedly trust and believe in. But anything else, I don't know. But again, like I said, I'm not an overly religious person. I do believe in God, but again, I can't come out here and quote scriptures and things of that nature. But I can only say how I personally feel. So there's things that I do question, and I have the right, and you and who else have the right to question certain things. I don't want to say, oh, don't question God. I believe that I have a right to question certain things in situations if I don't know fully what's going on. I have questioned God before. I have questioned why certain things have happened to me, to my siblings, to my mom, to my children, to my fiance, to anybody, right? But I don't know. It's just we are just born to die, and then everything else is just bullshit in between. The only thing that's certain is life and death. That's it. Nothing else in between is guaranteed. You are born, and just as sure as you are born, you are going to die. Those are the only things in life that are certain, guaranteed. Hit the gravel. That's it, and that's all. But I just wanted to come out here and just tell you guys I hope you have a happy Saturday. I'm gonna try to get out for a little bit if I can get out of this mental thing I got going on. But I do know that the more you succumb to certain things, the more that you revel in saying, "Oh, I'm depressed. I don't feel right." You are what you if you say something, so shall you be. So anything that you say, you become. So the more I sit here and be like, "Oh, I'm depressed," or "I'm upset," or "I don't feel away," I feel away. I notice it sucks me in. Like that mood just sucks me the fuck in. So I'm gonna get up, get my life together, try to cook something real quick, I did have some herbal tea. Every day I try to have a different herbal tea. I have like chamomile, I have green tea, I have hibiscus tea, I have soursop, all kinds of stuff. I like to indulge in herbal tea. A lot of people like coffee, but I've never been a coffee drinker. So I'm more of a tea person. So I did have my tea this morning. It did help a little bit, but I know that I'm responsible to change my mood. Only me. I'm the person that's going to change my mood, my life, my outlook, anything. I'm responsible for myself, right? So that's all we can do is be responsible for the way we do things, the way we say things, the way we put shit in the atmosphere, the way we handle situations. We are only responsible for ourselves. So with that being said, I'm gonna get up, probably try to cook something, take me a shower, get my life together. But I do thank you, everybody that stopped through to chat with me. Been on here for about 40 minutes. So I'm going to get up off of here and I'm hoping you guys have a very restful, peaceful, whatever you're going to do today. I hope it's just something you enjoy, whether it's with family, whether it's sitting in the house, chilling. I don't care. Whatever you do, just make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you take time for yourself. And here I am telling people to take time for themselves, and I barely do it myself. But life isn't meant for us to be just going through the motions, like just every day doing sticking to the same script. It's not meant for that. So I'm gonna get out here and take my own advice and get myself together, and I'm gonna come back today at some point. I don't know who would be interested in the grief panel, but I do want to touch on it a little bit more as far as and open up the panel for anybody that is going through grief right now, or of course we all have experienced it at some point. So yeah, I just wanted to I don't know, child. I don't know what the fuck I wanted to do. I just wanted to talk to somebody. I can honestly admit I was in my feelings, and sometimes talking for me does help me. So this was a great release for me to be able to speak about a few things that I wasn't able to speak about a couple of days ago about the grief process and how I was feeling and how I've been emotionally fucked up the last about 4 or 5 days to a week, but still going, still going. Anybody that's talked to me, they probably would never realize that I was fucked up emotionally, but I was still going, still going, still going and going. And the other day I got stopped at my tracks and it's like I couldn't do it no more. But I feel much better today. That's all I can do is thank God that I feel better today. Gamma said, glad I caught you live. Yes, thank you, Gamma, for coming through. I really appreciate you. Keep coming out here, showing us all the things that you're showing us, engaging with us, challenges. That bingo was fun as hell. I was just telling somebody the other day, I was on live playing bingo. They like, how? So I was trying to explain, but that was definitely, definitely fun, the bingo. She says, I scheduled brief gatherings of YouTube ones on. Oh, really? I'm definitely going to have to get with you. Definitely going to have to get with you because I'm struggling mentally, right? And I'm not, I used to be afraid to say that, man. I used to be so afraid to say, yo, I'm not okay. Because so many people depend on me. I used to be afraid to say, I'm not okay. But, yo, I'm not anymore. Like, I gotta get, like, I don't know. I'm just glad to have been able to speak today, to conversate with you guys. And, hey, Fee, hey, girl, thanks for stopping through. Yes, so I'm so glad to have been able to come out here and talk with you guys because everyone needs an outlet. Everyone needs to vent. Everybody needs somebody that they can trust, that they can talk to, and for support. Support is not always money. People think support is monetary. Support is not always monetary. Support is lending an ear, lending a shoulder, giving sound, solid advice. Sometimes support is just listening to someone while they explain, how they're feeling and the things that they're going through, and just listen and being a voice, being an ear, a sounding board for someone. It's not always about money. People think, oh, support is money, support is money. It's not, it is, but it's not always about money. And that's what people don't realize. Support can come in many, many, many different ways. And I do thank you all for coming through to listen. And I'm hoping and praying that you all have a great day. I'm hoping and praying for anybody that's dealing with any type of mental, I don't want to say illness, I don't like that word, but any type of things that are plaguing their mind, anybody that's dealing with something that they feel that they can't overcome, or they feel like it's always something going on. Trust me, I've been there. I've been there. The only thing I can do is tell you is just form a relationship with God. Make sure you have a relationship with God. And a relationship with God is not always mean you have to go to church. You can fellowship with God in your heart. You can worship God in your heart and in your home. You don't always have to go to the church house to worship. Some people do make you feel like that, but you don't have to always show up at the church house to worship. If you know God, no one knows your relationship that you have with God. Each and every one of us has our own private, personal relationship with God, and nobody can tell us if it's right, wrong, or indifferent. So, yes, I do thank you all. I'm going to get out of here and try to get something to eat before my kids get up and take my shower, before everything jumps into a chaotic state. But thank you, Fee. Thank you, Gamma. Thank you, partner. Thank you, everybody. And I will see you guys later. Have a very, 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 very wonderful Saturday, stress free, drama free. And I'll talk to you guys later.